the biggest piece of content that I have today for you is about the Chinese expansion of the Solana community. Welcome to Sol Brothers with my dear friend Eno and myself, Simon, where it is our job to throw you in the Solana rabbit hole and show you around in our exciting ecosystem.
Our mission is to take you on the latest and greatest so that you never run out of fun things to talk about. Simon, we have literally one viewer, and I figured out what the problem is.
Oh, what is it?
Yeah. So before the show, Simon and I were trying to connect, obviously, our weekly stream that we do on Mondays and Thursdays over to Twitter, and we found that it's not working. The two of you who are watching from YouTube, so thank you very much for watching. Usually we have a couple hundred people who are watching. The reason why, Simon, half the internet is down. It's also why SNS was not working, and it is because Amazon Web Services is down. Yeah. No, I was just trying to figure this out. Monday, here are some of the memes that are rolling out right now. Monday morning, feeling energized, ready to work, opens laptop, AWS is down.
Wow.
It's not just that, half the services on the internet seem to be affected. This includes Snapchat, Clash Royale, Roblox, Canva, Brawl Stars, Fortnite, Signal, Perplexity, Amazon, PlayStation. So just about everything is down except for our friend Boop, who is the Sol Brothers intern. He is an absolute gem. Yo, the internet crashed. Yeah, he's absolutely correct. The internet did crash. And the one viewer that we have is Boop. Hi, Boop.
Damn. Yeah, not even my own app is loading. Now I see it. Good to know, by the way. Like Solana ID is down as well. So yeah, welcome to Sol Brothers, guys. If you're listening to this, you are obviously on YouTube or on the podcast because today there's no live stream because the internet dragged. Is that a problem for society that we are so dependent on AWS and Amazon? Because literally something like if they flip a switch, everything goes to shits and you can't use half of the internet anymore. Isn't that a bit fragile?
Yeah, that's a little scary. That we had a issue in Virginia and now it's affecting half of the internet. That seems like a good use case for DePIN. But also there's a big reason why servers are centralized because it takes a shit ton of compute power, and running a server farm is very efficient at scale at a single location. Trying to replicate the same amount of compute power, decentralized is possible, but obviously difficult. But maybe yet another showcase of why centralized systems are not good for the world. So anywho, we are going to power on today's show. It looks like that. Boop, this show is dedicated to you. It's basically just the Sol Brothers team watching today. We got Nick in the backstage.
We're recording, right? So we do have a bunch of to talk about on today's stream. And it's not just Solana price and markets, because that has been interesting in the past days. There's more on the agenda. We're going to talk a little bit about how to build on Solana as a developer with tooling and help from companies like Blueshift. And we're going to tell you what it is and what it does. We do have some bounties right now by Solana Foundation that are going to be given out to people who find vulnerabilities with some programming standards that we have on Solana. We're going to talk about that. We have some USDT news that we're going to talk about. There's a lot of news recently about stablecoins, a lot of new stables being issued, especially on Solana, and USDT is definitely amongst them. We have new governance proposals live on Realms, which is one of the most used DAO governance platforms on Solana these days. And we're obviously going to talk about the new hit that just got released, Sol Sorry. It went viral on Twitter. And we're going to give you our take, what we think about this magnificent piece of music. And the biggest piece of content that I have today for you is about the Chinese expansion of the Solana community, which is literally that we're expanding more and more to China. It might be that Lily Liu has some interest in China, and so it comes from the top. But I think we also, as a market, we know that China is definitely not as developed as US, for example, when it comes to Solana. So there's a lot of potential there. So Foundation is expanding to Solana. Foundation is expanding to China, sorry. And we're going to talk a little bit about that as well. So that is the agenda, Eno, and I would suggest to dive directly in. What do you think?
Yeah. We, of course, want to go back into the coziest part of the podcast, which is of course, Simon's technical analysis. And I'm feeling a lot better compared to last Thursday, so I'm going to be sharing your screen like so, Simon. What the fuck is going on with the charts?
Well, it is, again, not too surprising, actually, if you zoom out. Like, everything, like, I always get personally killed by trading to small time frames, right? But as soon as you zoom out again, it becomes a little bit easier to comprehend, because last time we talked about the recent crash that Solana had on the historical Black Friday after the 100% tariff announcement from Trump, and a bunch of other things that happened right after. So we saw this big decline here, which is, in my opinion, part of a larger wave 2 correction. And that wave 2 really went well into the last resort, I think, right? So if it would have dipped deeper, then we would have broken two important resistances, which is one, the 0.786 Fib level of this wave 2 correction, which started in 22nd of June. No, actually, it started a little bit later on 2nd of August. That was the wave 1, and then now we're in the 78.6 retracement level here in the Fib, right? And we bounced off there. We broke a little bit below it, but no daily candle closed below it. Then, not even the 4-hour candle, by the way, closed below it. So we basically, bounced off that Fib level perfectly. And then there's the resistance line, the one that we saw here forming already with 2 touch points. And we also touched this resistance line twice. Obviously, there's always a little bit of wiggle room. We could move this a little bit up so it looks like this. That would be still, the same fucking line. So don't really worry too much about the pixels on these when you do the TA. But for me, these are both touch points. The wicks touch the resistance. So two very strong supports. When I say resistance, by the way, I mean support, since we're going down here. So we had a lot of support, and we did a double bottom basically, and now are on our way up again. The scenario is valid, the one that I was tracking since a while. We basically completed the wave 2 with an ABC, and we're now on our way up in a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? 2 new highs, right? This wave structure right now that we're in could bring us to plus $250. That's what we're right now waiting for. And so far, so good. It is playing out. We had a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here to the upside. We can zoom in a little bit again in the hourly chart. And then we had an ABC in green that brought us all the way down here. That was really deep, by the way, but still we recovered. I think it was so deep because the market down here is still very uncertain and scared. So there has been quite a bit of sell-off. Still, we went up again in a 1. In a 2, I think we kind of completed the 2 almost, not that deep, the retracement, but are now in a more impulsive push to the upside. Even though last night there was quite a retrace here. Anyway, I believe we're on our way to $200. I think $200 will be the next resistance, where we might find some psychological support. That could be the top of the wave 3, or it could be just a little station between the wave 3 and the wave 4. If we hit the $200, it would be around the 1.38 Fib extension of for that wave 3, which is a good target, right? So these are kind of the targets right now for the next level to the upside. And then we're going to retrace a little bit in the 4, and we're going to move up again. If I say it like that, it sounds super simple, right? Sounds like I know everything.
Well, I mean,
pretending to know.
No. I mean, to be fair, last week, you were very, very concerned that we were going to break not only the Fib levels, but also what's that line called that you can trace back all the way to June? Yeah, that line from
it's
June.
Just a support.
Support,
yeah,
right?
Just a support.
Yeah. But there are multiple support lines that you could look at, right? So is there like a particular way to describe this support line? Because it does perfectly. It seems like every single time Solana is testing a new low, it does bounce off that specific support line. So I wonder, maybe we should call it the Simon support line.
I mean,
SSL.
It is the SSL. Great. I think it's just like these support, these structural supports, they turn into support lines because of psychological reasons, right? Because we're all drawing them, like everyone who's training is drawing these lines. and then we're waiting for this moment usually to be touched, and that creates an buy pressure again. Like, it's really natural, especially if multiple indicators flow together, like fib levels and structural supports, and whatever else. Then I think it's pretty clear that it's gonna at least provide some support. What happens sometimes is that you're gonna get a touch point, but then the next time it breaks below, right? Then we have a break of structural support. So that's what I was afraid of is gonna happen here, and that would be very bearish, especially if you already have three very strong touch points, and then the next one breaks. That is usually a capitulation, right, of traders and markets, where you can then, after this break, I would expect a retest from below and then a further downside to the downside, right? So that didn't happen, right? And the further we're impulsively pushing away from that support line, the more plausible is the next high that we're waiting for.
And guys, the reason why that didn't happen is because the fundamentals are as strong as ever. Obviously, the entire Solana ecosystem and capital all around the world is listening to the Soul Brothers podcast, saying to themselves, you know what? We're retesting this support line, but we're going to keep buying. So clearly, this podcast is performing its function in the community. You got anything else you want to share, whether it be about, Bitcoin dominance or USDT dominance or any other fun charts you're looking at?
Maybe one more fun chart I'm looking at is the total market cap of crypto excluding Bitcoin and Ethereum. So basically all the other coins, including Solana. And here obviously this week here is a bit, there was just a brutal massacre of all altcoins. So this week is not really indicative, I would say, of anything. It happened really quickly as well. But then I was tracking the support around $970 billion of total crypto market cap, excluding BTC and ETH. We did close a 4-hour line below it, but then quickly recovered up again. So I was waiting for this retest that we either bounce down or we continue up. And right now, I think I'm inclined again to believe that we're on our way up. As long as we're holding the support here in this red box, I think we can see higher valuations throughout the whole altcoin sector, because that's pretty much what this indicator or what this chart is telling us. So I think right now we're on our way again to this structural support here, the yellow line, which could bring us again to 1.8, where that's where we got stopped last time when we tried to recover from the crash. $1.08 trillion for altcoins, basically. So this indicator is interesting because it literally gives you the valuations of all crypto, excluding Bitcoin and ETH. Because if you look at the total crypto market cap, obviously with 60% Bitcoin dominance, there's a lot of Bitcoin in there. But if you want to get a good sense for the market, excluding ETH and BTC, then this chart here can tell you really neatly where we're heading next. And you can see in the broader time horizon here, I'm waiting for another high really to play out. That would be big. That would be the alt season, basically, that everyone is preaching.
Yeah. Just curious, why did you draw? So this red box that Simon is referring to our listeners back home who don't have the visuals is in between about $980 billion to $1.02 trillion. So I'm just kind of curious, why did you choose that specific range between, 980 to $1,002 billion, as the kind of the support?
Yeah. So basically, we had an impulse here and then a retest, or then this structural support started to provide support. For me here, a new wave count started in this level here, and I'm simply tracking the fib levels between this low here from August 2025 and the high of October 2025, right? So I drew a fib levels be just between these two points, and the most significant Fibonacci levels, just based on trading psychology, are 0.6818 and 0.786, especially for a wave 2 retracement, which this could be. So that's why I think there's a lot of structural support from fib levels, but you can also see there's a retest here, that is also support. And even if you look back, there's a lot of volume in this area, as you can see in the volume profile here. There should be, like, if we significantly break below this area here, that is usually bearish, right? That would probably bring us down to retest this line or something again. But right now, it looks all right. It looks like we kind of holding. You could, like, there's one more support, which is kind of the last resort usually that you can draw in for this kind of wave count here. And as you can see, they're all holding pretty well.
Simon just here putting in random numbers into his charts.
Okay. They're not random. They're not random. They're based on math and physics.
Well, thank you so much for sharing the TA this week. So I think long-term bullish, and we survived what looked like a little bit of a scary moment. Late last week, we touched a really crucial support level, and could have broken it down to to the downside. Unfortunately, we didn't. So our coins are back up, or many of the coins are back up. Obviously, not all of them. My portfolio is still red, but. But we're here to talk about all of the fundamentals in Solana that should make you bullish on the chain. So just tapping into the latest and greatest. Obviously, we still have some issues with AWS here, and hopefully our Twitter will not rug as we do this show. But I think one of the first companies that we want to talk about, Simon, are our friends over at Blueshift. So Solana has always forked Rust and LLVM to maintain its BPF target. I mean, I hate Dean. I'll explain this in a second. To maintain its BPF target instead of giving back to OSS. Today, that all changes. Behold, a Pinocchio escrow built with nightly Rust for an upstream BPF with a custom SBPF linker. Zero protocol changes. It is now safe to turn off your compiler. The fuck does this mean, Simon?
That's what I was just asking myself, actually. I was like, can you make it more techie? Probably not. There's a lot of words in there that I couldn't even explain, honestly.
Looks like we're giving back to... So Dean, who is one of the Dean and Leo, who are both working on Blueshift. Leo was actually German, if I'm not mistaken, right? I don't know if you've ever had the pleasure of meeting him. They've also attracted quite a bit of stake to their validator, so congratulations to you folks. I do not know what a BPF target is, and it looks like they're giving back to open source, right? But he says Blueshift made building Solana programs using native Rust possible as opposed to using a fork. So I understand at least that much. But as to what the hell upstream BPF support is, I have no fucking clue. But thank you very yes, Nick. Thank you very. You could stop now. But thank you very. But thank you very much, obviously, to Blueshift for 10xing the dev experience on Solana. And next up, of course, we have something from the Solana Foundation themselves. They've launched a new security bounty program for Anchor, offering rewards of up to $100,000 for vulnerabilities that could affect production code. If you think you found an issue, we want to hear from you. Details on the scope and eligibility below.
Really cool.
Yeah.
I like that. $100,000. That's a lot of money as bounties. I love these bounty hunts, by the way, because you're basically just activating an army of internet white knight hackers to try to break your code. So they're gonna swarm in. They're gonna try to find the problem with your code, and to basically hunt the treasure, which is the bounty. And these guys make a lot of money, bro. Like I have some friends in the security sector. Usually they work at auditing firms or something, and then in their free time they engage in some of these bounties. And it's such a huge industry, Like, I mean, you probably know a little bit from your background as a founder. I'm pretty sure you talked to some of these auditing teams, but they're charging big time. They have a lot of power in the market, because if your code breaks, you're fucked. And if you're in DeFi protocol with billions in TVL, or millions, right? Doesn't really matter. Then you want to make sure that your shit is working. And if you're Solana Foundation, you want to make sure that your infrastructure level kind of tooling is working, and Anchor is part of that. So pretty good.
I think one of the issues with security is that when you don't need it, you don't feel the need for it, and so therefore you aren't willing to put up the tens, sometimes hundreds of thousands of dollars required for full audit, right? But when you do need it, like right after a hack, they will charge you whatever the fuck they want to charge you, and guess what? You're gonna pay it. You're gonna pay it because you're fucked, and you better figure out what the problem was. Otherwise, you might be leaking more money. So that's kind of the irony of the founder's choice about when to do a security audit. The answer is always as soon as possible, but some people lack that perspective because they either don't have the money to, or they don't want to shell out that much money. So it's just kind of, it's a constant irony in our industry. And the bounties are quite fat, ranging anywhere from $100 to $100K. But I mean, it just depends on the severity of the hack and bug and whatever it is that you find. But they'll pay those out. So thank you very much to Solana Foundation for keeping our protocol safe.
Pretty good.
Next up, we have an initiative from Tether. It's called USDT0, and they have this product called a legacy mesh. If I'm not mistaken, Simon, I believe USDT, Jesus Christ, USDT0 is their compliant version of the stablecoin, whereas like USDT is just anybody can use it, truly permissionless. We don't ask too many questions. But the legacy mesh and XAUT0 are now live on Solana, which means that we have like I think $180 billion worth of stable coins that are now available to use on Solana. I don't know what was the technical limitation of having USDT available on Solana before. I mean, obviously USDT has been on Solana, but it seems like much more liquidity is available now than ever before in the past.
And also it is good to see all these huge big players in the market being so loud about Solana and building on Solana. These days it's almost like a feature, right? Whenever you announce something with Solana, it is very positive for your own protocol. And even I also love to see how Tether is jumping on the ICM train, because again, that term has been coined by Solana. That didn't come out of nowhere. It is a marketing trick, let's say, but very very smart, because the narrative makes sense, right? Like internet capital markets make a lot of sense, but the term didn't exist, right? It didn't exist before Solana, so we coined the term, and now it belongs to the Solana ecosystem. So it is cringe to talk about ICM back in Ethereum land, in my opinion, the same as it is cringe to talk about ultrasound money when you talk in Solana land, because that term has been coined by Ethereum a while ago. But I think now seeing these big players like Tether embracing the ICM meta is really powerful. Everyone is behind it. Everyone believes in it. That's kind of my learning from it. It's really good.
Right. And speaking of new pioneering forms of governance, we're going to be talking about Realms. Realms obviously is the home of Solana DAOs. We have our very good friend Dean the Machine, who is actually one of the OG governance nuts over on Solana, and he has been exploring a new form of governance called Solian governance, which is another market-based approach to governance. The only other market-based approach to governance that we have is with Futarchy. And with Futarchy, it's not a question of yes or no. What you're doing is a game of guess the price for a proposal, right? So if a proposal is yes, then like how much economic value does that add to the token? If a proposal is like no or does not pass, then how much economic value does that add or subtract from the token? And so like whatever proposal either pass or fail succeeds, it depends on like what is going to add the most economic value to the token, right? Or maybe even subtract the least amount of economic value in some cases. Solian governance is different because it is a yes or no question, right? Like you're not playing a game of guess the price. But how it's different is where the economic incentives lie. So how it works is that the proposer puts up like a kind of like a bond, right? And the bond is kind of like the initial seed money that you need for the market. And the there needs to be a quorum that's reached, right? And then based on the quorum, the multiplier that each bettor gets for the money that they deposit, either yes or no, depends on how hotly contested the vote is. So let's just say, for the sake of argument, that you had a proposal that was like 100% and 0% no. That would be a multiplier of 0, because like everyone agreed that this is the right thing to do. And if everyone agrees that a proposal is the right thing to do, there's really no economic value to be extracted from there, right? It's just like everyone agrees that this is a perfect proposal. Whereas like if you have like a vote that goes like 51% to against 49%, it's really a coin flip about whether or not this proposal is going to add economic value to the token or not. And so if you win in that case, then like the multiplier that you get for the money that you put in is like much higher. And also the person who created the proposal, the person who put up the bond is a way to get rid of spam, right? So like if you didn't have a bond, then anybody could put up a governance proposal, right? But a minimum capital amount when you put up a proposal ensures that you get high quality proposals. And then the economic incentive is that the person who puts up the bond, or the people who put up the bond, also get an automatic multiplier on their bets paid out by people who are voting. So it's a very interesting system. I'm working, of course, off of my notes I actually took on Solian governance over in Tokyo, because Dean and I had a very, very long conversation about it. It's very interesting, a completely different approach to market governance, and does solve a lot of those sticky problems that you do get with Futarchy. Even though I really love Futarchy and we use it at Sanctum, it can be quite confusing to explain to someone who's like never used it before.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's quite technical, which is a problem in itself, right? Because governance should be as permissionless as possible and as easy to access as possible. But as soon as it gets complex and techy, you're automatically excluding people that are jumping off the train because they either don't get it or they're not prepared to invest the time to get it. So you're making your votes automatically more aristocratic again, like small circle of people
So
that kind of know how it works.
That's the interesting philosophical debate that I have with the Futarchy folks all the time, Colin and Prophet, who I love very, very much. But it's kind of like they're okay with a world in which people who have the most information are the ones who are making the decisions, right? Which is a little bit more of a aristocratic, oligarchic structure, where it is a smaller amount of people making the decisions. But again, the reasoning there is sound. It makes sense. Like, I get where they're coming from. They're like, bro, like you and I are not qualified to make bets on, let's say, vaccines, right? Whereas like someone who actually works in the field and understands the implications of new developments, like those are the people who should be betting the vaccine markets, like not you. Like we could certainly bet in the vaccine markets, but scientists and people who were better qualified to bet the vaccine markets and the implications of certain decisions that are made should be making all the money, because they're the ones with all the information. So I guess it can be construed as elitist if you don't know what the subject matter is about or what the proposal is about. But also, on the other hand, isn't that kind of what you want? An expert run economy? I don't know. It's really, everyone has a different point of view, I think, on that.
Yeah, true. Yeah, fair. Interesting. But it's good to see that we have contestants on the governance market now, with realms trying to innovate in this field. So anyone using it already? Probably not, right? It's too new for that. There's no teams that are on case study. Okay, so let's stay tuned for case studies that are using the new Solian governance model.
Yeah,
from realms.
Cool. So next up, we have a little bit of Solana culture here, and I hesitate to use the word culture. A song called Soul Sorry by jew.sol. He has produced the music video himself. It looks like he brought a friend to shoot the music video. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure she's a friend. They look just about the same age, so I would imagine they go to the same high school or college or whatever the fuck. I have a really hard time watching this music video. This is actually my first time forcing myself.
Be happy you don't have sound right now, right? So you're not actually hearing it. So
yeah, I haven't heard the song yet, but I'm reading the lyrics right now, and
okay.
Can't.
But I have to say, without the song, it is actually really easy to watch. So let's bring it up a notch, especially for our listeners as well here on Spotify and Apple Music. They probably are dying to hear the song. So yeah, let me just do like this, and then let me know if you can hear it.
No. Oh, yes, I can actually. Please, Simon.
At second 0:30.
You gotta go and greedy on every fucking solo nutty. You know I try, but I don't do well with this fucking pump and buys. I hope my wallet don't crash. Can someone this fucking phantom? Cause I just need more short and staking soul for APY.
Sorry, I had to. Sorry, bro. I had to do it. I know it was a slap in your face, but we have to. People are curious, right? They want to know what's happening. So we just listened to Soul Sorry from jew.sol, which is a tremendously bad song. But that's how you get attention, because look at the metrics here. You have almost 430,000 views, 1.5k likes, 1,500 people liked the video, including myself. Fuck. And then you have 560 retweets and so on. So really successful video. Solana account commented, low key banger. So you can think about that whatever you want. Yeah, bunch of funny comments. Jakey, right? Who is the king of brainrot content on Solana? He is commenting, "This is fucking tough." So if Jakey comments this on your video, bro, you're cooked. Have mercy on her. And then you see him going through her hair. Yeah, what do we make of this? What are we? Do we even want to? I don't know where to go from here, bro.
I just kind of feel like,
yeah, please bring us back to earth.
Cringe capital markets, maybe. And to be fair, what's that? Is there like a Germans have words for everything, right? You'd love to take different nouns and just smash them together to make like a new word. But like, is there like a German word for when you like smash a spider with a book and then like you look under the book and you don't really want to see what you just did, but you kind of have to? It's that there's no German word for that?
There's no word, not to my knowledge, no.
What's the word for cringe in German? Does that even exist?
Not 1-to-1, no. We have.
Is it like Americana?
Yeah. We do use cringe, I think, by now, which is cringe itself. But I think, it would be like merkwürdig or something.
Merkwürdig?
So, yeah,
I see.
That means that's like strange, strange, merkwürdig.
I see. Yeah, no, it's just
more than strange.
There's this like, it's not a new phenomenon on Solana, by the way. It's just that we do it the most. It's probably my least favorite part of Solana, but maybe also what makes us. I don't really know. In fact, I think maybe even some of the stuff that we do is cringe. I'm not quite so sure. But kind of like cringe farming. I feel like there's a lot of cringe farming. It's being intentionally cringe on Solana for the purposes of gaining attention, because it has this psychological effect of like, yes, this is horrible, but like I also can't stop watching.
Yeah, like an accident. I mean, it was funny. When I watched the video, I was laughing because it's funny. But you can't do the whole video. It's almost impossible to kind of sit through the whole thing. But it is funny, and it got a lot of attention, and attention is good, right? Like, especially if it's not like we had worse things on Solana, right? Like actually things that are fucking brutal that I don't want to be talked about, like racist shit and people killing themselves and all that fucking, So that is what I don't want. But having someone make like almost a parody video, because the sad truth is that the guy doesn't think it's parody, I think. But obviously we all think it's a parody video, so that makes it acceptable in my opinion. Little like one caveat here at this whole story: the guy himself is known to be not the most genuine, honest person on the earth. he has been flagged to rug a few things on other ecosystems, and there was even a token, to my knowledge, that was associated with this song that didn't really perform very well over a long course, which indicates a rug. So yeah, just it's funny that he makes funny content, but then obviously do not engage with these silly people, because a lot of times they're doing this only for the attention, and not like us, where they want to build a reputable brand on Solana. That's why we don't do videos like this. Like they do it to just get an injection of attention to, profit from it, and then go somewhere else again. So that's my take.
Yeah, and I'm also seeing a couple of screenshots of he like commented on some girl's post and was saying that essentially like you have a shitty fucking attitude to her post about BNB, and then she's like, what the fuck am I supposed to say to this? And he texted like, what's your age? I'm ready to be gay for you. I just I
mean, obviously he's not the smartest, brightest star in the galaxy, right? So let's keep it there. Let's leave the poor man alone. He's already cursed by life for low IQ. So we don't need to further battle him.
Yeah, no, I feel bad. I feel bad. Just what do you even say? Just leave it alone, I suppose. But in brighter news, we do have a new Chinese name for Solana. If I'm not mistaken, it's pronounced Solana, and I am not pronouncing that correctly because of my American fucking accent. But there was a contest by a company called Trends.fun, run by a very good friend, Mabel. She likes to call it information capital markets. They are experimenting quite a bit with creator streaming, another platform for us to consider. But they ran a 100 soul contest over the last week for different Chinese names for Solana. And here to explain a little bit about how Chinese works is our friend Nick, who obviously works at Soul Brothers and Sanctum and a couple of other places. But Nick, how are you, my friend? You are our resident Chinese speaker, isn't that correct?
Yep.
Actually, Nick had the balls to tell me the other day that his English wasn't very good, and I just wanted to slap the shit out of him. It was so annoying. I'm like, shut up, Nick.
It isn't. It isn't. Yeah, my English is not good.
My English is not good either.
What?
Very American.
But Nick, I mean, there's plenty of Americans who don't speak very good English, Simon. I mean, come on.
Sad. Very
sad, but true.
True.
True. But Nick, you want to explain to us a little bit how Chinese works like how is Chinese different from English in terms of like the characters? Like, why is there even the need for a Chinese name for Solana?
Okay. I think because Chinese sometimes can be very short. They can express things in like a very short few words, and there's a lot of words that sound the same but actually have different meanings. So there is a difference between like the first place, as you can see, as well as the consolation prize. They actually sound the same. It's all both Solana, but they mean differently. So I think the meaning that was explained in the first place was much better, and like the engagement on the internet liked it better, so people kind of chose that. And yeah, the second place pronounced as Suona, and it actually is a Chinese instrument which is pretty noisy. It's like just a horn or a trump. You can just picture it as a very high pitched trumpet which only has a few sounds. So it's like boom 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 boom, like yeah, not much of it. And it is usually used when there's a funeral, so not really that good as well. Yeah, so yeah, there's different meanings like within just 2 or 3 characters. So that's, I think, the main difference between Chinese and English. And we really want a good representative name for Solana in Chinese. That's why this competition was started. And yeah, the people picked Solana, which is pretty good, I would say.
Well, I mean, so each character has its own meaning, right? So that's what makes it so interesting is that like the suo in Solana is like to search for, right? Or to pull.
Yes.
And then the la means like to drag or to like bring to you, right? To pull.
Yes.
And then na is kind of like elegant or graceful na.
Yeah.
So it's like
girl, feminine na. Yeah.
Right. So I guess what they're trying to convey is like a graceful way of pulling people in is kind of the meaning of this particular version of Solana,
Yeah,
right?
you can think of it that way. Yeah.
Right. So anyways, thank you so much for this Chinese language breakdown, Nick, and we'll get back to singing
No problem.
Solana's praises. Yeah. So I mean, like each of these, Chinese characters have obviously their own meanings. And in fact, the first and the third place Solana use the same two characters. So both are kind of meant to describe this feeling of like pulling someone into something, right? So I guess that's what we do here in Solana is that we pull people into Solana. So yay.
Yeah. I mean, that's what we do, right? This is literally what this podcast is about as well, to an extent. Like, we want to inform the people that are already here, and we want to bring new people in.
Yes.
Chinese is really fucking from a different galaxy, I feel. Like, the way this language works, it is just so... If you have never learned about it, you're like, what? What is happening? Why do I need 3 different symbols? Well, 3 different variations of symbols for the same fucking word. And then there's a meaning behind the word. Like in my language, there's no meaning behind words. Like not to that extent, like not words, but parts of the word. I'm just confused. Like as you can tell.
Well, actually,
about
so Chinese, Korean, and Japanese all work the same way, more or less, because we all took our language structure. So even though the words are completely different, the language structure, the underlying, the grammar is a little different too, but the underlying logic is all the same. It's all character based, right? And so like the kind of the equivalent to this in Latin based languages are prefixes, suffixes, right? Like a prefix like anti is like 4 characters, but it means a specific thing. Anti means to be against, right? In a Chinese based language, CJK, so Korean, Japanese, Chinese, Japanese, Korean, you will have a single character that just embodies the idea of being against. Right? Now, just imagine an entire language that's like Legos. And that's what Chinese, Japanese, and Korean is. It's literally Legos where you have an infinite index, a dictionary of just fucking thousands of characters. And then you just create different permutations of words based on what they like literally just put stuff together. Like cha dong cha. Like I don't know, when I think about like all the different Korean words that I know, they're and I don't know very many. They're not exactly, a lot of the characters are the same, but we're just actually just putting them together in new permutations to create different meanings. So that's quite interesting. Except for like words like ketchup. That's just there's no there's no Chinese equivalent to ketchup, like the condiment. Like that's just,
you just say ketchup.
Yeah, you just say ketchup. But that's why that's it's kind of hard for words like Solana, right? Because Solana does not have an underlying meaning. It's not like when we came up with the name for Solana, there's no characters that we can match it to that match the Chinese logic, and so that's why there's
what's the difference between ketchup and Solana? I mean, I know the difference, but like on a word level.
No, but I mean, like, I bet you if you go back far enough to ketchup, like, first of all, ketchup to me feels a little German, and I feel like there's probably some German root to ketchup. Like there has to be some Latin-based root to ketchup that has to come from somewhere. Same with Solana. Solana sounds like maybe Portuguese, maybe Italian, some sort of
Solana Beach.
Spanish maybe. Yeah, but I mean, like Solana has to be named after something, right? Like there's always, if you go back to the etymology of any word, there's always almost everything is almost Chinese in that sense, right? Like not that it goes back to China, but that like if you go back to Latin, like there's always like a whole list of, oh, this is what this used to mean. This is what this used to mean. And like we put that together to make it mean this, but we've completely forgotten that. And now it's just attached meanings. Anywho,
interesting.
That is all. I don't know why we're talking about languages.
I mean, I'm just curious.
Yeah. No, that's my bad.
But back to Salami.
Yes. So of course we have, even though half the internet is down, it's okay because the Solflare website is still working. You would not expect anything different from the Solflare website, and you can join the waitlist for the Solflare card, and you can climb the leaderboard to win rewards. You can now get your Solflare card, spend your USDC. And it doesn't really matter what you want to buy. There are no spending limits because it's based on whatever is in your wallet. So you want to spend $5 for a burger, 50 for $300 million, doesn't really matter. You can spend it all as long as it's in your wallet, and you can do it with your card as long as the person who is accepting the transaction will accept a $50 million payment through a debit card.
Magic internet money, bro. Now
Yes.
applied to the real world. The ultimate degen moves. Just chipping in 1K in some random coin, making 100K profit, and then going and buying some stupid ass watch or some shit with your card, with your crypto money. That's like the ultimate degen user journey here. But you don't need to be crazy fucking nut job. You can just use this card as your daily, go shopping, buy your groceries, use it for online shopping and so on. And you never have to off ramp your money from crypto again. And all you have to do is to go to waitlist.solflare.com/solbrothers. Or alternatively, or actually just go there. That's easy. waitlist.solflare.com/solbrothers.
Yes. And speaking of very good news, our friends over at SNS had the biggest month ever. So over 3K new Sol domains registered, 11 new partnerships with some very notable names, including Realms, Maddle.fun, and Streamflow. SNS token listings on Bybit and Bybit Web3, ByReal and Bybit Web3. Those are listings that should not be ignored. That's huge. Community voting for the very first time. And as we know, the Chinese, Korean, Japanese characters on .sol will be priced at a much more affordable price point. So everyone knows that I have my eyes on Shibar.sol. I will be buying those promptly. And the top domain sales are interesting. We have jew.sol for $40,000. Iowa.sol for 2,000 USD, and Pump from Pepe.sol for about 2,000 US dollars. So we had some pretty big domain sales. Reminds me of, I think, last week or last month or last quarter, there was like NYC.sol also did very well, sold for a bunch of money. Not so sure
jew.sol is definitely in the top ranks here with $40,000.
That is a choice.
Interesting. Like, who would spend so much money for a domain?
I mean, it's kind of this. It's the same as, like, I don't know, Korean.sol or German.sol or US American.sol. I suppose it just has a connotation to it. I don't know. It's just.
I mean, it's just first of all, it's 3 letters. That's good. That's great.
Sure. Right.
And second of all, it's just funny because it's kind of a joke in itself, because Jews and money have some sort of history. So paying 40K for an internet domain on Solana is, it's just, I think it's just really funny.
Yeah. I mean, like, I guess, I don't know. I wouldn't feel like, it's just funny, I suppose. It's just an interesting domain to get. But congratulations to whoever got jew.sol, iowa.sol. I feel like there's no mature way to talk about this topic without putting a foot in your mouth. So I'm just going to stop talking about it. Like, I just.
Moving on the agenda.
I'm trying to find the smooth way to talk about it without sounding like a racist, and it's just like everything that's coming to mind, I'm just like, this is just making it worse.
Yeah. Luckily, we can say whatever we want here on this podcast, so yeah, that is good. But still, we don't want to make enemies with the Jews. So moving on, we do have another little recap, I think, for another trade wars that went down with Flash Trade. Flash Trade trade wars with none else than jew.sol, who did a 500x leverage long during his competition, and I think he actually, how did he perform? I think he actually performed pretty well on this trade wars here. But for people who don't know, Flash Trade is performing every single week. They're performing trade wars episodes where you will get a funded wallet from Flash Trade with dollars loaded on the wallet, and you can use that amount of dollars to gamble it away with over leveraged longs and shorts on your favorite tokens. That's literally what's happening. It's just fun, obviously, like most people do not make a lot of money there, including myself and Eno. I went out break even, and I think Eno lost it all. So I think we can definitely find some contestants that perform better than the Sol Brothers. But I think it's a cool format. It's fun to watch. It's fun to engage in, and it shows the power of flash trade, which is huge as longs and shorts without any without a lot of collateral, because you have like so much leverage in there. Obviously, do this with a lot of caution.
Someone told me that I was the only contestant to lose all the money in the wallet. I was like, that cannot be true. Is that true?
I don't know. I don't know about that. Probably not. Probably not. You're okay.
But he timed his 500x long perfectly. I don't know how much money he made, but yes, he did go 500x long right at the bottom of a wave. So congratulations
That's actually the only. Congrats to Jussi. But that's the only way that this actually works. Like the flash trade degen mode. You can only really make money there if you catch a really, really good entry, which is a little bit of a gamble, right? Because you never know. But if you identify some sort of setup on the chart, on the minute chart, right, on the minute chart, and that setup shows you, okay, this might be a good entry, then you can go in there, because as soon as your thesis goes south, you need to close the position, because otherwise you're going to lose it all, because the margin is so small. So like 100x plus leverage trading on flash trade is definitely an art for itself. And it shouldn't be done with a lot of money. It shouldn't be done at all. But if you decide to do it, then do not put a lot of money in these trades, because they can be gone in a snap. Just want to disclaim this here real quick.
Yeah. And also one other little thing that I'd love to add at the very end, just because it's just very personally interesting to me, is that we had our first organic recap thread. There's a gentleman by the name of Rudolph 2000 who watched the 55th episode of Soul Brothers. I cannot believe we've done so many of these, Simon. And he wrote a full ass motherfucking thread about all the stuff that we talk about. And we love to see it. So I really appreciate that, Rudolph. I don't know if you're listening right now or if you'll listen to this later, but if you are, we do appreciate the recap thread. That's very nice of you. Yeah,
keep doing these. You're gonna see some love from the Soul Brothers. I'm not gonna lie, because I think it's a really good thing to do. There's people that you have 12 likes or something on the pod. There's people that want to see it, because they are too lazy to watch the full thing. So if you give them a good summary, why not? Big shout out. I saw the post as well on my timeline, and I was really happy to see it. So that's great. But for today, I think we'll wrap it up. We got shit to do. We need to record a Soul Brothers version of Soul Sorry. So I'm just kidding. We're not going to do that. Thanks, Josh, for the recommendation. But we do got shit to do. So we're going to move on in our day. But we gave you the latest and greatest, as we do at Soul Brothers, of the things that happened, the latest TA, the latest market insights, and the latest news about DApps and launches on Solami, the consumer chain for the world. So if you want to hear more about that, then make sure to subscribe on YouTube, because that's where we post the long forms and the short forms as well. Give us a follow on X. Stay around on X and leave your comments under the posts if you want to let us know what you want to see more of, because we are reading everything. And you can join the live streams as long as AWS is not down. Also on Twitter, we're going to be live again later this week. So make sure to stay tuned for the next wave of updates from the Solana ecosystem. Until then, you have a good day, a good start in the week, and we'll see you at the next one. Soul Brothers out.
See ya. Adios.